What's up? It's another podcast with me. So today we are going to be talking about the new MacBooks in the line and who they are for. Plus, comparing them to other Windows laptops and other MacBooks. So let's go right ahead and see what we got. So according to Geekbench, compared to the same chip processor found in the iPhone 16 Pro, we can see that the Neo actually performs better in CPU. Neo scores in single-core and multi-core. Single-core scores 3,584. No, wait. 3,584, yes, sorry. And 9,239 in multi-core. And single-core and multi-core CPU tests for Geekbench is 3,445, so you're getting about a 100-point difference, which is not that big of a deal for some devices, which we'll get to later, because I have an older MacBook and we can compare it to that. And multi-core gets a big jump with about 1,000, but that's expected for multi-core because multi-core is multi-core. And of course, this has its own dedicated motherboard and everything that is bigger, which doesn't mean better, duh. But, so in the end, the iPhone 16 Pro is basically a little farther behind, but I'm surprised they went with the A18 Pro and not the A19. But, that's Apple. And if you guys were wondering what I am recording with, it's my Google Pixel 10 Pro, which has an amazing mic. And this is a sponsor, well, not really a sponsor, to all the tech I am using in this video. And up ahead, you will see I will use the MacBook Air 2017 with a 1.8 gigahertz i5 to screen record some stats. Back to the video. So we are going to be looking at the M1 now, which a lot of more people have, instead of the iPhone 16 Pro. So the Geekbench scores for that is 2,347. And for multi-core, it is 8,342, which is pretty good compared to the A18 Pro. It's just, you're going to get a very good upgrade if you upgrade to the MacBook Neo for students and just video editors like me, which probably in 2 or 3 years, once this probably gets some damage on it, which it already has in the year of using it, I will get a MacBook Neo because that is a significant upgrade to my 2017 MacBook Air that I just said. So let's look at the computer I am using right now. For single core, I would get a giant upgrade if I upgraded to that. And this being 843 in single core and 1,637 in multi. Enough with real stats. Let's look a little bit at Apple's stats. Alright, so now we're gonna look at all the options. So with the MacBook Air I have, you only get one color, you get silver. But with this, you do get, so you get the option for silver, you get the option for space gray, and you get the option for gold. But with the MacBook Neo, you get newer colors. So you get silver. Instead of black, we have citrus. And we also have blush, which is basically a lighter gold, and indigo, which is a new one. Then we're just going to keep them all silver, to simplify it. And I get a 13.3-inch screen. The MacBook Air M1 gets a 13.3-inch screen, but the MacBook Neo gets 0.3 inches less, which it doesn't seem like a lot, but that is a probably smaller computer. So if I did upgrade, that would be very weird for me. But it might be good because people say it's thin. It's very thin, like a MacBook Air-ish. So we're looking at the processors now. We have a Intel, up to a Intel Core i7. I have an i5, so that wouldn't really count. Then that is 2-core. That is 2-core, and a M1 has 8-core and 7-core. And it also has Apple Intelligence, which nobody uses, but nice feature. So, and then this has the A18 Pro chip, which is more powerful, but lacks in 2 cores for each subject. Then, mine is a max of 8 gigabytes of memory. The MacBook Air M1 comes from 8 gigabytes of memory, but you can upgrade it to 16. And the MacBook Neo, that has 8 gigabytes of memory, and you cannot change that. Mine says up to 512 gigabytes of storage. I only have 128. Yes, that's not a lot. And then from 256 gigabytes, so you could probably upgrade that to like a terabyte or two for the M1, and 256 gigabytes or 512, no other options. They don't give you a terabyte or anything. The 512 option, though, has the Touch ID, and the 256 just has a lock button, which is actually okay. So then mine gets up to 12 hours of battery life, which I think is a little less because it was refurbished by Amazon. Then this has, the Air has up to 18 hours. The Air M1, which is a lot, and then you're getting a 2-hour decrease if you're upgrading, but I don't think that's going to matter. You're not going to use your computer that much if you're the demographic buying this. And mine has no Touch ID. This already has Touch ID built in. The M2 removed that, and Touch ID for the 512 gigabyte model, like I said earlier, on the MacBook Neo. And mine, I do not have that i7, remember that. So I don't have the 2.2 gigahertz, but I have 1.8 gigahertz, so an i5, so I'm rocking an okay processor for 2017, and okay even for now. I can literally play anything I want. I did have to download Windows through Boot Camp and stuff, but that is for another video, a review of Windows on Mac. But yes, it is coming soon. System on chip, one processor, M1 processor. So we got a 8-core CPU with 4 performance core and 4 efficiency cores, which isn't that bad. And this has a 7-core GPU, not efficiency for GPU, and 16-core neural engine, which I don't really get, but yeah, if you did want to know, my graphics card is built into the motherboard, which is a Intel HD graphic, which I think is a graphics card, actually. I think that's separate. Intel HD graphics 6000, and mine goes up to 900p. If you guys wanted to, I can show you. I'm gonna blur out that. I can show you that the thing for that. So what is the resolution of a MacBook Air M1? So you are getting a nice 1600p display with that. And now let's look at the Neo. That has a 1506, so you're downgrading, but is that a dead pixel on my screen? I don't think so. I think that's just, yeah, that's software. Anyway, so yeah, that's cool. So back to the Apple stuff. You are not getting that much. So here are all the configuration options if you wanted to look at those for memory. Okay, now storage. Oh, and I was right about the terabyte or two on this. You could get up to a 2 terabyte SSD. They all have SSD, which is impressive for my MacBook Air. Then, Mine is, 1440 by 900. Dang it, why did I have to share my Google page? But, yeah. So, this is all y'all's, stuff. The depth is, better than the MacBook Air or mine. Mine's very thick. Both of the Airs. Mine has a 720p, FaceTime HD camera. But this has a signal processor with conventional video. This has a nice 1080p camera, which is a good upgrade. This has a dual speaker system sound, which when I watched the reveal video, that 3-minute video, that was nice. It looked really nice. This does have Dolby Atmos, just like this. This does have stereo speakers, but they're on the front, which may, make some difference. They all have 3.5 millimeter headphone jacks, which the iPhone doesn't. That was removed a while ago. And Touch ID. Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah, I love it. So Touch ID. Yeah, and then this one does not have a backlit keyboard. This does, which surprisingly it does, and I can literally test it right now if I wanted to. Yep, it does. So yeah, this one has Bluetooth 4.0, which isn't that bad. Bluetooth 5, and you are getting the Bluetooth 6 upgrade, which I'm going 2 generations if I were to upgrade, which I'm not. But Thunderbolt 2 port, I do not have one of those. What? I swear, I'm looking at this right now, and I do not have a Thunderbolt 2 port, but I do have the 2 USB-A ports, which is nice, and a SDXS. See, I think that's like a proprietary port that you just buy an adapter for. Secure authentication, I'm just using my password, Siri, I can do a lot. But this can, hands-free, but I have to, press the button. You can see a little bit of it right there. Because I cut out some of the thing, but up to 12 hours of battery life, and this is what they all look like. Mine looks like the oldest. This one actually looks a little bit newer than that one, but the big bezels are compromised for the notch that you would have gotten with the Air or the Pro. So, enough with the Apple website. Who is this really meant for? Well, students, more high school and college, because it is still not in the Chromebook range of $200 to $300. Apple's never gonna beat that, unless they throw in like an iPad deal or something. But that is gonna be Apple's big bang in a few years with the, some schools still have the iPad trap of $300 per thing. But still, that is nice, and, students and, just basic video editors and content creators like me. So I am excited to buy this refurbished from Apple in 2 to 3 years, because I'm broke. But anyway, so yeah, that's basically the end of the video, and I hope you all have a good day. Bye.